And right now at 6 o'clock, KPRC2 investigates the power failures and the fallout. 1 week later, we're learning about a request that ERCOT made as the storm bared down on Texas.
That emergency request was from ERCOT to a federal agency, and that action, some say, proves that ERCOT knew Texas was in trouble.
Our team of investigators continue to track the ERCOT timeline tonight, and tonight Robert Arnold has details on that federal request. Robert, tell us more.
This request from ERCOT was sent to the U.S. Department of Energy just as the storm was starting to roll across the state. ERCOT officials write they were expecting to exceed even their most extreme forecast for customer demand. ERCOT officials then asked the Department of Energy to put a pause on environmental restrictions as a way to make up for an anticipated shortfall in power supply.
If someone had told us we're in big trouble, we would have made completely different decisions.
Galveston County Judge Mark Henry is angry.
We would have opened up warming centers. We would have given people a place to go.
He says as temperatures dropped, he had no idea ERCOT was scrambling to meet demand.
You knew it was bad. Why didn't you communicate that to us?
On Sunday evening, ERCOT sent this emergency letter to the U.S. Department of Energy asking to allow certain plants to exceed federal limits on emissions and wastewater releases for a limited time so they could provide maximum power and make up for plants expected to go down. In ERCOT's judgment, the loss of power to homes and businesses presents a far greater risk to public health and safety than the temporary exceedances of those permit limits. The request was granted.
No one ever called us. We had to call them and ask them, when does the rolling start? We've got people that have been in the dark with 16-degree weather for 24 hours now.
I'm an environmental engineer. I don't ever want to see plants emitting more pollution than they should, but everyone realized that we were heading into a dangerous situation.
Rice University professor Daniel Cohan understands the need for this measure. He disagrees, though, with ERCOT's assessment it properly predicted the state's energy needs during this storm.
Their initial plan, at least the one they issued in November, under-predicted demand by 5 or 10%.
Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick was blunt.
I believe that ERCOT was not prepared. They told us they were ready. They obviously were not.
As we've reported, on February 11th, ERCOT officials told us they were ready. So what changed between that statement and this request? That's going to be the subject of Texas House and Senate committee hearings coming up later this week in Austin. Oh, and Judge Henry says he still wants an answer as to how blackouts were chosen. He says at one point, 90% of homes and businesses in Galveston County were without power, while other counties were between 11 and 13%. And today, a Harris County commissioner has now asked to explore possibilities of leaving the ERCOT system. I know that's a lot to digest, but we have it all for you on click2houston.com. Reporting live, Robert Arnold, KPRC 2 News.
Thank you, Robert.